Welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at this Teltonika RUT955 cellular router. I bought this a few years ago to look at and I just hadn't had a chance to, so I thought we'd go on the same kind of journey we did with the Zosi DVR. So let's zoom in and take a look at the outside of this device. So first off, you'll notice it's made in Lithuania. Things that are made in Europe tend to be of slightly better quality in terms of security than things that are made in the Far East. I think the reason behind that is this has to have a warranty. You've got a legal recourse to get your money back if it doesn't work or doesn't do things securely. But let's keep an open mind. It's got a default IP 192.168.1.1, but a default username and password. Now that's interesting. Quite often when you see a default username and password printed on something, that means it doesn't enforce a change when you commission the device. But again, I can't remember. I did power it on, but I just can't remember. Now the power here, it says 9 to 30 volts. This is branded or marketed as an industrial cellular router. So lots of industrial gear takes a wide range of voltages from 9 to 30 volts. It says at the top there, remove the back panel to insert the SIM. So there's no actual external SIM socket. Now have they done that for a reason? One of the things that we quite often do when we test devices that have SIMs is we pull the SIM card out, we put it in a modem, and that SIM card has some form of privileged access to a network. So maybe they've considered that a threat. Let's look at this side of it. Right, so we've got that 9 to 30 volt DC power in there on a kind of standard pinned connector. We've got 4 Ethernet ports, LAN 1 to LAN 3 and a WAN port. RS485, there's differential serial. RS232, we've got I/O, so this will be digital I/O, possibly analog I/O, not sure if it's in or out, I haven't looked at the specs. We've got the cellular signal strength indicator there, they're LEDs. Flipping it around to the other side, we have 2 connections for the mobile network, 2 connections for Wi-Fi, 1 for GPS. So this has actually got a GPS module in it, so it can tell your position, and we've got a USB socket as well. In that little hole there is a switch, a reset switch, so you can factory reset it. Now because it says that you can take it apart to fit the SIM, we can take it apart, it's not going to break anything. I would always recommend when you're working with any hardware to turn it on first and make sure it's working. There's nothing worse than taking a device apart and breaking it before you've even managed to see if it works. Equally, sometimes things turn up dead. And if something's already dead when you get it, you want to just be able to return it to where you got it from without any problems. So I'd always make sure things are powering up at least. That is contrary to EEV blog's take on things. So let's take the back panel off. Oh, there we go. Okay, so the back panel comes off and the whole thing slides out. So the casing is extruded aluminium, quite common, and we've got a stacked PCB construction there. Let's zoom right in on that. So what have we got going on here? Well, we've got 2 SIM sockets, so you can do dual SIMs in this. I guess that's to make sure if one network goes down, you can access the other. Big inductor, big capacitors, there's some power supply stuff going on here. The Ethernet ports, so these are Ethernet magnetics there. That's the RS485, so I'd imagine that's a transceiver, RS485 transceiver there, allowing you to do that. So we've got the, we've got the mobile, GPS and mobile. So mobile, GPS, mobile. So the Wi-Fi is probably on the other board and this is the cellular board. So it's socketed. So all I'm going to do, let's just wiggle these apart. There we go. Right, let's keep on looking at this board. So flipping it over, not actually much to see on this side apart from this here, which is a Quectel EC25E. So it's a cellular module. It's got a QR code on it. We've got 3, the 2 cellular and the GPS. So this does the GPS as well. So it's a combined module. So it'd be interesting to see what features that supports. How's the firmware on that get updated? I think that's about it on this board. Right, what about this one? Let's flip it round. Right, on here, power comes in. Capacitors, big inductor, more capacitors. This chunk here is going to be power supply. We have the main SoC there, which is an Atheros AR9344. That will be a MIPS chip. We'll be doing the Wi-Fi, it'll be running the main OS on this. Those two there, e-tron Tex will be RAM. That will be the SPI flash that holds the firmware. We've got a micro SD card slot. So I don't think I saw that on the specifications. So you can put a micro SD card in there. This edge connector is interesting. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Same on the other side. So we've got a 14-way edge connector. Is that JTAG? Serial port? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I've actually got a connector that will go onto that, and I don't really want to solder onto it. We've got that USB socket, the two Wi-Fis. We've got the reset switch. Down here, this big green block is the I/O. So this is a relay, this orange box. That will be for turning on and off an output there. So there'll be a digital output that relay can drive. These two packages here with the 4 legs on them, they're almost certainly opto isolators. They're normally in these kind of slightly chunky packages. All they are is an LED and a photo transistor in the same package. So 2 of the pins will drive the LED, and the other 2 will go through that photo transistor and switch it, and it provides electrical isolation. That said, I mean, that looks like it's kind of a bit belt and braces. Actually, flipping it over, we do seem to have some isolation slots cut in the board, so these prevent arcing. You can see them there as well. So maybe that relay contact actually allows switching of a higher voltage. So it looks quite well designed. Right, so just to reflect on that, let's have a look and just zoom out. We've got our 2 stacked boards, this one with the Quectel EC25E, we've got an Atheros AR9344 on there, running the Wi-Fi, micro SD, that weird edge connector. It looks like quite an interesting device. I think the next step is going to be powering this thing on and seeing what we can do through the network interfaces. Now, it's quite common to find that consumer routers don't allow you to gain root access to them. But when you've got these industrial routers, quite often it's got built-in functionality, SSH or a command web interface to allow you to do things as root. So let's see if we can get root access to it and inspect what's going on. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy this kind of thing, press subscribe, press the notification bell, press like, and I will see you in a few days with another video. Thanks. Bye.